What should he have done?
He should have, first of all, asked his father in the home. In a nice way, not so aggressive and so ill. And we would explain to him we're going to our classes to let, which the teacher did. He could let us go to our classes. And then when we came up from lunch, instead of him trying to be all intimidating, he could have smiled.
Right, that's true.
Instead of, because Alana did it right back, because you're not scared of nobody.
Jemiah, but
he's trying to be scary, all big and bad.
But I think, I told you, being a double Leo, I'm telling you, Jemiah, you knew that. They want to probably get to know your personality.
But that's not the right way.
Jemiah, all right, but everybody don't know the right way, so you have to teach them the right way.
Yeah, but that's not.
So now, okay, so now, if he see you in the hallway again, how are you going to address this issue? What do you want to say to him? How are you going to address it?
I'm not going to say nothing.
You just going to keep walking. So if he does that again, like, do all of that and be all aggressive, how was he aggressive? What was he?
It was like, I don't really know how to explain it. It was just like, his energy was off. Like, you could tell when somebody trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, trying to, like, do, like, you could tell somebody doing too much.
And he was just doing too much.
Just doing too much.
Wow. So, how, now, because we talk about student council, right? Student government. So now, so how would you address that in student government? What would you say?
That we need to let some of the teachers know that they can come, if they're trying to get to know a student or see how they will react to certain situations, they could come to them as a respectful, like they could come to us in a different way instead of trying to intimidate us and scare us. They could come to us and just talk and create conversation instead of being how they because a lot of them don't have to act how they act.
So in school, this is the issue. The teachers are what? So, because you're saying the teachers, they don't have to act the way they act, right?
Yeah.
So the teachers, all of them?
They act like booty holes sometimes.
Like booty holes? Jemiah, that's not a good word.
Ma, it's the truth. I mean,
so in student government, these are things that you want to talk about in student government, right? In student council, right? Like, so teacher, and what happened?
We talked about it in class.
With your teacher?
You can't change everybody.
I know. With the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
So, and what did the teacher say?
Same thing.
What?
That they come to us in another way.
Okay, so I think this is something that y'all need to discuss because it's important that the teachers and the students have a working relationship because it is a partnership. So let's see how this goes this school year. That's one issue to address, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Mission accomplished. Hey guys, I still got paint, but anyway, guys, I guess to cap off this night, right? So it's been an interesting day for me. Saturday, spending time with these kids and doing that. I don't know. I guess I gotta relax and I guess debrief after this. So I guess I'm gonna calm down, right? But anyway, guys, I want to read a book. It's called Freedom River by Doreen Rappaport. Pictures by Brian Collier. This is one of these books. I'm going to turn it around so y'all guys can see the picture. I can't. No, I can't, guys. I guess I'm going to have to work this out. Let's see. Let me put the camera up right here, right? This should work. I washed my hair today. So, yeah, this is the cover of the book. Let's see. Now I've been reading a lot of stuff about Kentucky. This is another part of the Underground Railroad that ran through there from Kentucky, I think, to Ohio. So let's see. Before the Civil War, Kentucky was a slave state and Ohio a free state. In 1800s, the Ohio River was less than 1,000 feet wide at Ripley, Ohio. Runaway slaves from Kentucky followed the Maysville Road to the river and then swam or were rowed across it to freedom. Sympathetic whites and blacks in Ripley hid the fugitives and then transported them further north. John Parker was a successful business person and one of Ripley's most active conductors on the Underground Railroad. He had been born a slave and earned enough money to buy his freedom, but he never forgot his pain of being taken from his mother's loving arms when he was 8 years old. This is a true story of one of his journeys into Kentucky to help an African American family escape to freedom. This is him, John Parker, right? Listen. I heard last night someone helped a slave woman cross the river, said one of the workers at John Parker's foundry. John Parker couldn't take credit for this escape, but it pleased him enormously to hear about it. Maybe Mr. Parker helped them escape, said John Schaff, an ironmonger. My father said he's helped hundreds. Jim raised his voice. I dare him. I dare him to cross the river and try to steal my father's slaves, taunt Jim. If he does, my father will set the dogs on him and rip him to shreds. John knew if he crossed the river, he might end up dead. There was $1,000 reward for him, dead or alive, in Kentucky, but he couldn't let that stop him. Slavery was too easy. He had to keep helping others no matter what the risk. The picture, can you see the picture? A week later, in November, when the moon was about a sliver. So it was a dark moon. See what I said about a dark moon? That's me. See the dark moon? They used it. See the shadow of the water? A week later, in November, when the moon was about a sliver, John rowed across the Ohio River to the Schoaf plantation. Wait, listen. Only crickets and bullfrogs breaking the silence of the fall night. I hear a lot of crickets in Virginia. Yes. Suddenly, footsteps closer, louder. The crescent moon illuminated a black man. John approached him and touched him. I have a boat waiting to row you. Cross the river to freedom, he whispered. I can't go, the man stammered. I can't leave my wife and baby. Without warning, the man screamed and ran away. Suddenly, a white man swinging a club charged at John. John ducked. The man dropped his weapon and grabbed John around his waist. Down. The man wrestled him to the ground and punched him in the face. John grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it into the man's eyes. Run, back to the river, back to his skiff. Row, away from the slave state of Kentucky to the free state of Ohio. December came and brought patches of ice on the river. In January, the river froze. Rowing across it was impossible now. Jim Schaff continued to taunt John that he was too scared to go after his father's slaves. John didn't answer his taunts. He practiced being patient as he waited for spring. The artwork is beautiful. In April, when the river thawed, he returned to the plantation even more determined. Wait, listen. The moon shone on the man John had seen in November. John followed him into a cabin. I've come back for you and your family. Leave Isaac and me alone, said the man's wife, Sarah. Since you came last fall, Master Schaff watches our every move. He took my baby from me and makes her sleep every night at the foot of his bed. Isaac, sneak into his room while he sleeps and take her, John urged. Too dangerous, said Isaac. The master keeps a loaded pistol at his side and swears he will kill her and anyone who comes for her. John shuddered at Schaff's cruelty, for he knew that the baby's parents loved her too much to leave her behind. He returned home, but he could not sleep that night. He felt responsible for Sarah and being separated from being separated from her baby. He had to get this family to freedom. Oh, they took her baby, the master. He knew she's praying. The next night, he rowed across the river again. He tied his skiff to a wooden post and untied the other boat there. He smiled as if drifted away. Get up, John shook Isaac and Sarah from sleep. Go away, leave us alone, Sarah begged. I know you are afraid, but trust me, I will get your child out of Sharp's bedroom, John said. No, it will never work, said Sarah. He will kill you and my baby. It will work, John insisted. Wait for me in the woods. If you hear gunshots, run back to your cabin. He took off his shoes. Isaac, hold these until I return. John hurried to the man's house, into the pantry, into the kitchen. There was no sign of the vicious guard dogs John Sharp had painted. I just got finished painting. John Sharp had threatened him with. Into the hall, ahead, light speed from under the door of Sharp's bedroom. John tiptoed around it. Still no dogs. He held his breath. The Lord must be watching over me, he thought. He gently pushed the door open. On the far side of the room, a candle flickered. Sharp and his wife were sleeping. A pistol rested next to the candle. John clutched the gun in his pocket. He listened for the breathing of Sharp and his wife. It was regular and smooth. He relaxed a bit. He saw the baby sleeping at the foot of the bed. She was no more than 5 feet away, but she seemed unreachable. Crawl, crawl. The floor creaked slightly as he inched toward the child. 3 feet more. Sharp tossed restlessly in his sleep. 2 feet, 1 feet. John scooped up the baby and threw her pillow at the candle. The room went dark. The pistol clanked to the floor. Sharp awakened with a start. Oh, God. Right. This is him sneaking, I guess, in the room, right? And then... Run, down the hall to the kitchen, through the pantry, out the door. The baby started crying. There's no time to soothe her, John heard Sharp's running feet and cursing mouth close behind. Run, down the road, to the water, to the skiff. Isaac and Sarah ran close to John's heels. Gunshots rang out in the air behind them. I guess that's one of the others. Yeah, telling them to run, right? John untied his boat. Get in and lower your heads, he ordered. Sarah clutched her baby. More gunfire. Faster. John pulled the oars and ignored the flashes of gunfire from the Kentucky side. When the oars hit the Ohio shore, John sighed. He had tempted fate and won. He hurried his passengers onto shore. Isaac, my shoes. I dropped them when I was running. No time to worry now. Run to the safe house. In minutes, the family was hidden under straw in a wagon to be driven farther north by the next conductor on the Underground Railroad. When did that probably could have, who knows? It could have been Harriet. Yeah. John was barely home when there was a banging at his front door. He walked slowly downstairs. Who is it? He asked. John Sharp. John opened the door and pretended to be surprised. Why are you here? Jim pushed John's shoes into his face. To exchange your shoes for my father's slaves. I've never seen these shoes before. I don't want them, said John indignantly. His tone turned graciously. But you are welcome to come in and look for your missing slaves. Jim grabbed the shoes tightly in his hands and searched room after room. He banged closet doors, knocked on walls, pulled out the drawers, and threw everything on the floor. John did not care about the noise or the mess. For the longer Jim searched, the greater the head start for Sarah, Isaac, and their child. Listen. I heard someone row A slave family across the river last night, said one of John's workers. John waited to hear what Jim Sharp would say. He did not hear his voice. Jim had not reported to work this morning. He never returned to work for John Parker. He was nice looking, at least the thing. A historical note. John Parker was born in 1827 in Norfolk, Virginia, to a slave mother and a white father. When he was 8, he was sold to a doctor in Mobile, Alabama. The doctor's son defied slave laws and taught him to read and write. When John was 12, he was apprenticed to a plasterer who beat him so badly he ended up in the hospital. While recuperating, he escaped, but he was captured in New Orleans. He was not apprenticed to an iron molder. No, he was next apprenticed to an iron molder. He mastered the work but was fired for fighting with his boss. His next job also resulted in dismissal. John was now 16 years old. His owner decided to sell him for. He believed that John's defiant nature would continually get him into trouble. John convinced one of his owner's clients to buy him and let him to earn his freedom by repaying her from monies he would earn. He worked 7 days a week. In 18 months, he earned $1,800, a huge sum then. He bought his freedom. On May 12, 1848, he married Miranda Bolin. They settled in Ripley, Ohio. Ripley was a center of anti-slavery activity. The Ripley Abolition Society boasted over 300 members, black and white. John became a successful and respected business person. He patented a tobacco press and manufactured it along with engines, reapers, mowers, and steel plows. At one time, he employed more than 25 men, black and white. He and his wife raised 8 children, but happiness and success never erased his painful years as a slave and the separation from his mother. Time and time again, he risked his life to help slaves escape. Historians believe he might have helped as many as 900 African Americans. John Parker died on January 30th, 1900. His house on Front Street is now a museum. To recreate this incident, I relied on, this is, I guess, the author's note, yes. To recreate this incident, I relied on His Promised Land, the autobiography of John Parker, former slave and conductor, published by W. W. Norton in 1997, and on the documents provided William R. Owen Jr. Senior Reference Library, Duke University, and other first-person accounts by Parker, plus newspaper articles provided by Union Township Public Library in Ripley, Ohio. I took the liberty of filling in certain details that Parker did not provide, such as the names of the black family and the month of this daring escape. I'm grateful to Allison Gibson, librarian at the Union Township Public Library, for patiently answering my many questions. I thank Dr. Stuart Seeley Sprague, Professor Emeritus of History, Morehead State University, who edited Parker's autobiography for publication, for reviewing my manuscript. And then these are, I guess, the books and stuff, the resources where he got this information. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. Shout out. Ooh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. A little jittery. Okay, guys. Peace out.